Diddy's mom addresses his terrible mistakes ahead of sentencing date.
I love you.
Love you too.
Janice Combs writes in neat block letters because arthritis has stolen the elegance from her cursive. Unfortunately, my son has made some terrible mistakes.
First of all, that's his mother. Wrong, right, or indifferent, she gonna lie, steal, kill, and protect her child. That's what she's supposed to do. But the apple don't fall far from the tree, man.
That line, sitting alone in paragraph 3, is more disarming than any courtroom cross-examination. For 10 months, the world has dissected Sean Diddy Combs, mogul, hitmaker, alleged predator. Now we meet the terrified mom who turns 85 in December and wonders if she'll ever hug her boy outside prison walls again. Her 3-page plea, filed with Judge Arun Subramanian, is not celebrity PR gloss. It is part obituary, part confessional, part demand. Let him come home. I'm running out of birthdays. The clock is ticking. Verdict: guilty on 2 federal Mann Act counts. Transportation for prostitution, not guilty on racketeering, trafficking, coercion. Location: Metropolitan Detention Center, Brooklyn. Fluorescent lights that never dim, steel bunks that never soften. When? Sentencing, October 3rd. Range from time served 14 months to a theoretical 20 years. The defense brief calls the convictions a glorified orgy. Prosecutors call them wealth-powered sexual exploitation. Every newscast flashes that 20 years headline, but seasoned court watchers whisper a narrower wager: 18 months to 5 years. A mother's letter can tip a sentence by months, sometimes by years. Ask any federal judge. Puff Daddy surfaces from the Uptown Records rubble and launches Bad Boy. 1997. I'll Be Missing You, mourns Biggie while printing platinum plaques. 2007. Forbes predicts hip-hop's first billionaire soon. 2013. Forbes updates, recalculates, still soon. Nov 2023. Cassie Ventura sues, rape, battery, trafficking. The civil case settles in a day, but subpoenas stay alive. Sept 2024. Homeland Security raids Combs' Miami and LA homes. Leaks show NDAs, wire transfers, burner phones. July 2025. Jury 4-person. Count 1, not guilty. Count 3, guilty. Gasps, tears, and the quiet arithmetic of federal sentencing tables. Inside Janice's letter, 4 quotes, 4 visuals. Tron lost his father to gun violence when he was 2. At 9, he watched my brother die. Visual: faded black and white of baby Sean on his mother's knee. The newspaper clipping of Melvin Combs' murder. Quote: he sold flyers on a Harlem corner so I could keep food on the table. Visual: 80s street footage. Teenager in a bubble goose shouting, "Uptown party tonight." I will never excuse wrongdoing, but I will never stop loving my son. Visual: 2018 funeral of Kim Porter. Combs in tears, children in matching black. I want the last few years of my life to include Sunday dinner with my family. Sean at the table. Visual: slow pan across the empty head chair at a polished mahogany table inside the Alpine NJ home. No PR firm could craft vulnerability this raw. Whether the judge accepts it as mitigation or sees it as manipulation will define the next headline. Combs' lawyers admit he funded wild nights, private jets, designer drugs, professional sex workers. Their spin: he paid for atmosphere, not for his own intercourse. The Mann Act, they argue, punishes self-gratification across state lines, not the mere funding of an orgy one only watches. They also resurrect the law's ugly skeleton. Passed in 1910 to police interracial relationships, Jack Johnson the most famous victim. Its wording, immoral purposes, is so broad that legal scholars call it the Swiss Army knife of sex prosecutions. The team tells Judge Subramanian, "Don't let Jim Crow legislation dictate modern justice." Line after line they insist Diddy has already suffered: wealth vaporized, liquor deals frozen, music removed from playlists, partners fleeing, reputation scorched, brand once valued at $1 billion, now effectively nil per their economist. Self-improvement. Substance abuse program behind bars, A- conduct record. Request 14 months time served, plus 3 years supervised release. Mandatory therapy. Community service inside music education nonprofit. Prosecution counterpunch. Power used as a weapon. Assistant U.S. attorneys counter with a harsher narrative. Escorts were not hired entertainers but instruments to degrade romantic partners. Flights, 5-star hotels, and hush payments equal calculated interstate commerce. Mann Act maxes at 20 years for precisely this. Rich men outsourcing predation. They note that Combs was acquitted of trafficking only because jurors doubted force or fraud, not because conduct was ethical. They cite text messages to security detailing inventory of women, private scripts for sex shows, and recommended a guideline range of 51-63 months, roughly 4 to 5 years, with credit for time served. Public reaction. Divided like a DJ mix. On Lenox Ave, Harlem, he built schools, gave away Thanksgiving turkeys, free Diddy. Outside the courthouse, money hides abuse. Survivors deserve more than 14 months. Instagram story poll, 150K votes, 46% time served is enough, 54% give him years. Hip-hop elders go on radio. Some blame cancel culture, others call it accountability long overdue. Meanwhile, survivors' advocates remind the world that Cassie settled civilly because criminal courts often fail women. 1910, White Slave Panic. Congress passes law in moral frenzy. 1913, boxing champ Jack Johnson jailed for traveling with white girlfriend. 1944, Charlie Chaplin charged, acquitted. 1959, Chuck Berry convicted, serves 20 months. 2025, defense calls statute outdated racial cudgel. Prosecution calls it still the law. Judges rarely scrap convictions at sentencing. Yet if Subramanian doubts the underlying law's fairness, he can zero out prison time even while leaving the guilty verdict legally intact. That's the defense's backdoor hope. 4 futures. What the judge can do. Scenario: prison time, release date, impact, 0 years, vacate counts, walks out October 3, DOJ appeals, media earthquake 14 months, defense wish, already served, Oct. halfway house or home confinement, career salvage attempt, minge 3 years, probation study. The courtroom will feel like algebra. Guidelines X mitigating factors, aggravating factors months. But punishment is never just math. What is a mother's anguish worth? Do 14 months in MDC equal remorse? Is the Mann Act a fossil or a guardrail? Judge Subramanian will answer with a number. Until then, the only certainty is an elderly woman's closing sentence. I would like to spend the last few years of my life with my son. Where do you land, time served or years behind bars? Tell us below. We'll be reading when the gavel finally falls.